Who or what will Vader and Thrawn fight against in Star Wars Thrawn Alliances? Remember, the novel releases on July 24th, which at the time of publishing this video is just over a month away. But the biggest question I have is what is worthy of both Thrawn and Vader's time? Why is Emperor Palpatine sending these two off together? Well, before I get to that question, I want to say I'm Mike and welcome you back to Force Within TV, where we love the anticipation and speculation that leads up to Star Wars releases. And we'd love you to join us by subscribing and answering the question of the day at the end of the video. That said, let's get back to that intriguing question: what exactly is worthy of both Vader and Thrawn's time? These two are arguably two of the greatest assets the Emperor has, especially at this point in the timeline. From what I understand, the novel takes place between Season 3 and 4 of Star Wars Rebels, or just a few years before the Battle of Yavin. At this point, Vader has been a great asset to the Emperor, tracking down Jedi who escaped Order 66, and Thrawn is a Grand Admiral who just recently all but wiped out the Rebel base on Atollon. So why send both of these servants at once? The book states that Grand Admiral Thrawn and Darth Vader team up against a threat to the Empire. So usually in these Star Wars stories, the threat to the Empire is a group of rebels, but if this is the case, the novel would become far too much like the Star Wars novel Tarkin. So I'm very certain at this point that the threat will have nothing to do with the Rebel Alliance or an individual rebel cell. Furthermore, in the novel's promotional blurb, it states that Emperor Palpatine has felt a disturbance in the Force. So the rebellion most likely doesn't have anything to do with the disturbance in the Force. But who or what has created this disturbance? Could it be a group of Jedi that have taken refuge in the unknown region? Or could it even be a group that is linked to Ahsoka Tano? No, I don't think so, because it wouldn't make for the greatest story, since we know that Ahsoka, Vader, and Thrawn will all survive until later in the Star Wars timeline. So perhaps it could be another Jedi trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. The novel promotional blurb goes on to state, "On Batuu, at the edges of the unknown regions, a threat to the Empire is taking root. Its existence little more than a glimmer, its consequences as yet unknowable. But it is troubling enough to the Imperial leader to warrant investigation by his most powerful agents." It's the line, "A threat to the Empire is taking root, its existence little more than a glimmer." This line really does make it sound like it could be a Jedi trying to rebuild the Order. The word glimmer, for example, really makes me think of the phrase "a glimmer of hope," which the rebuilding of the Jedi Order certainly would be. But would rebuilding the Jedi Order really cause a disturbance in the Force? Wouldn't the Jedi try not to cause any disturbances in the Force? Plus, when I read the last line of the promotional text, I have a hard time believing this could be a Jedi. The line reads, "They will be doubly challenged by a test of their allegiance to the Empire and an enemy that threatens even their combined might." I think the test of Thrawn and Vader's allegiance will come as they struggle to work cooperatively. They do, after all, have very different ways of doing things. But that last part, an enemy that threatens even their combined might, who or what could that be? The only Jedi I think that could even come close to threatening Vader and Thrawn outside of, say, Obi-Wan and Yoda would be maybe Quinlan Vos. Though at this point in the timeline, he might be too old to be much of a threat. That said, Thrawn and Vader seem like the perfect pair to track down Vos. Remember, Quinlan was the Jedi Council's undercover agent, so Thrawn's Sherlock-type abilities would be perfect at tracking down a Jedi that has often worked undercover, and Vader's dark side powers, of course, would be perfect for destroying him. But what if the threat to the Empire has more sinister motives? Maybe we will learn more about the great threat in the unknown regions that was only mentioned in the last Thrawn novel. Could we get more about the backstory of Supreme Leader Snoke? Surely he is someone that would be too clever to create a disturbance in the Force that would be felt by Palpatine. Or could it be the Yuuzha Vong are going to be reintroduced to the Star Wars universe? They could be a group that caused some sort of disturbance in the Force without actually knowing it. Whatever the threat to the Empire is, it's certainly going to be interesting to discover it. And the best part is, we only have a month until the book is in our hands. So remember to keep an open mind. My speculation, and maybe even your speculation, is most likely way off. But here at Force Within TV, speculation is what we love. So hit that subscribe button if it's something you enjoy as well, and join us in the comments section by responding to the question of the day, which today is, who do you think is the threat to the Empire, and are you looking forward to the book? Let me know in the comments below, and may the Force be with you.